Okay, so we have this guy right here. It's a Eureka multi-cyclonic vacuum. But we now have a belt going out. And I believe it is the belt over here, which is the same exact thing I replaced last time. I got my handy dandy tool. Alright, we got it repositioned here a little bit so that I can get the last. There we go. Dum-da-dum. So yeah, I got this vacuum originally 8 years ago, I think. When I bought it, Jesus. When I found it, it was outside a dumpster. And I thought, surely there's nothing wrong with it. So I brought it inside and looked it over. And I found out that there was nothing wrong with it, except this belt had, I think it had slipped off. No, this lower assembly here, that's what had happened. This pulley, which drives the brush here, it had stripped off the axle there. So I had to buy a new, this piece, drive assembly I suppose it'd be called, to replace it. And I don't know if at the time I had to replace this belt as well, but this belt is what's going bad on it for sure. Which I know through my powers of looking at it and guessing. Now, what is actually going wrong? So this right here is a tensioning mechanism. So I push that down. It will tension it. And that takes power from the motor here to drive pulley 1, which drives pulley 2. So it's, if we're to be technical about it, it's a step down and then another step down so that this doesn't rotate the speed of the drive motor. Yeah, that's what it's called. But let's take this off and see if maybe the belt's the problem. This thing's making all kinds of noise. So you can see, it looks like it's worn out there. It might just be that the belt itself is old, or it might be that there's something jammed up. But that spins freely, and that spins freely even though it's attached to the motor. That's fine. So what does the on-off do? So the on-off switch here, it just raises and lowers the tensioner on there. So then what is going wrong? The symptoms she complained of was burning rubber smell, which given how clean my fingers are, that makes sense. Although I don't know what it was burning on exactly. So let's plug her in and turn it on and see what happens. All right, let's see this in action. So like I said, I think this is directly from the motor here. I know for a fact this will draw a lot of amps from the wall. This is a shockingly dangerous piece of metal. So I'm gonna keep my hands away from it. And we'll turn it on, and I'll show you. You can't even see when it's spinning because it's machined or whatever, so smooth. So if I turn it on, not much happens. If I put this down, lock the tensioner here into place, not much happens. But that sounded okay. That didn't sound like it was broken at all. So maybe it just slipped off the belt here and was tearing itself apart. Let's put it back together, see what happens. I have a theory. So the bearing, this is the brush on the bottom. See how gross it is? Anyway, ignore that. But the bearing does not want to turn here. In fact, looks like there's chunks of something coming out of it. Maybe the seal got hot. So I wonder if maybe this bearing is just bad now. And it takes too much torque to turn it, so it's slipping and burning itself up. Let's take that apart. It looks like there's splines on there, but that doesn't seem right. So maybe, oh, the heck? Hey, that was easy. So let's see if we can get some of that crap off there. Maybe it'll work a little better. The snip. Oh, that was not a snip. That was more of a tear. That's how you get reddening and all kinds of nasty marks. Ugh. Oh, gross. Let's just burn all that crap out. I'm sure that would be great. Bet my wife would love me for that. Oh, gee. So I think this bearing is exactly what the problem was. You can see here. Can you see there? Yeah, you can kind of see how these sides are melted. I think it was spinning and torquing it, and it's generated enough heat to actually melt some of the plastic. And if you smell it, smell that? It smells like burnt plastic, like what my bedroom smells like now. So that is probably the problem. Now, when I got this vacuum, me and my wife, then girlfriend, whatever, we were in college. So I could just throw it away and, you know, buy a new one. We're both engineers now. We can do that. But that's why I would throw it away. I would throw it away for one bearing and a piece of plastic. No. Nope. So I'm going to take this bearing off and see if I can clean it out, repack it. Hell, maybe buy a new one. Because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the rest of the vacuum. Hi, Stella. So, let's try that before we write it off. I'm sure there's a rule against using pliers on ball bearings, but you know what? I didn't pay attention in that class. So that's definitely what happened here. You can see that this area is all melted to crap. And this area, it looks like the melted plastic and stuff got in the ball bearing itself. Ugh. Come on. Got the part. Got a hole in the middle. Got a bit. Got a hammer. Oh! Shoot. All right, bigger pliers. Bigger. Whatever. And a hammer again. Woohoo! So we have removed the offending part here, and you can see the back side is all icky. So we will dig what we can out of there. Yeah, that is definitely what did it. That thing smells horrible. It's melted plastic and hair and grease and oil. That's bad. It's a little dirt. It won't hurt you, probably, unless it does. Heat it up and all that hair pushed the bearing back, which let the hair get into this little section here. And then when it did that, it started binding up and got all nasty. Oh yeah. So now I can actually spin it a little more, or it's easier to spin. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. I'm sure you can't see that. The seal just popped off of that bearing. That's healthy. Let's see what we can do about that. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This is now spinning freely, which means it shouldn't cause the issue seen here. The one problem we might have is that this might be a little too thin now that I got it melted. Now that it got melted. And so it might not work in the hole like it's supposed to, but I think it'll be fine. Also, this isn't a drive or anything, so As long as this isn't binding up, it won't create much friction on the input. It'll be fine, is what I'm saying. So now, just need to figure out a way to put this in there, which is unfortunate. Oh yeah. Duh. Duh. You know, it's a song. All right. Perfect. So, yeah, that'll probably get filled with hair again, right? It'll get all nasty. But I just have to leave it. There's not much more I can do at this point. Other than, you know, buy a new brush. Which, hey, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I will. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows, really. That in the end there. You know, this one has always stayed in correctly. And this one has always fallen out. It's very annoying. I don't know why it does this to me. I assume it's because it hates me. This goes in here. It latches up at the top. It kind of slides in at the top. Then we get to play NASCAR Pit Crew here. You ready? Set your drill to buzz. Buzz. Booyah! Hey, let's test it out before we go any further, shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay, back at the test stand. That worked out pretty well. Okay, now we just batten down the hatches, and we are good to go. Don't forget where you put your screws, because then you'd really be screwed. Here's to another 8 years of cleaning and sucking. Is that good enough? Good enough for me. Look around. Do we forget any parts? Nope. Backing that up later. And we're good to go. Let's go test it out on the carpet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.